Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Witch Talk. I'm so excited to have you guys with me. As I go ahead and talk about the subject that definitely has captured my mind and really also has tickled me to death. So today just to give y'all some sort of warning is that this subject is not going to be appropriate for children. Like, just to give you a heads up, we're going to be using words that describe female genitalia, talking about subjects that are not for children. And if female pleasure and female sexuality offends you in any way, hop off this podcast forever. So just to give y'all a heads up. So, as people know, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion released a song called WAP, which stands for Wet Ass Pussy. Okay. So, I am a fan of both these female artists. I find them extremely fascinating, and I find them I find them a lot of fun, to be honest. And when I saw that they came out with a song together, I was like, I'm going to give this song a listen to. I was very much... I listened to the explicit version, of course, because I'm an adult. And I listened to the version and I was like, oh my goodness. Like, this is like a legitly good song. It's a good rhythm. It's good music. I personally liked the song. It might be too much for some people, but frankly, I enjoyed it. And then I decided I'm going to watch the video. Now, for people who don't know, Cardi B is a famous rapper. She is also a mother and a wife. Megan Thee Stallion, of course, came out with Savage, the song Savage, Captain Hook, and she also did the remix with Savage with Beyonce. So a little bit of backup there. So I decided to listen to the music video. And the music video is very visually stimulating. It very much is empowered with the female body and freedom that goes along with that. I think it was absolutely wonderful. There are some wonderful cameos from, of course, Kylie Jenner, Normani, Rosalia, Muleto, Sulcana, and Ruby Rose. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce those names wrong. I'm really bad at pronunciation. And of course, you see them dancing and stuff and wandering around the halls. But of course, you see Jenner in a animal print outfit as she's walking down the hallway. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. And I'm not even a really big Jenner fan. So I was already familiar with the song and the episode, and then I came across how the ex-NFL star Larry Johnson says that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are teaching women to be whores after watching their WAP video. And then I did not realize there was so much controversy that came to this song and the music video, which I should have assumed. And so I started to do some digging. About with Twitter and Facebook, and I came across, of course, Ben Shapiro, and I'll be getting him to a second. And then I came across a couple tweets that said, have you ever seen men condemn a rapist or an abuser as loudly and as quickly as they condemned Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's song about consensual sex? And this got me to thinking and literally just thinking about hip-hop in general and rap in general. Well, as you know, hip-hop and rap come from a long line of really enriched history from of course, from the African American people when it comes to jazz, when it came to the Harlem Renaissance, when it came to any type of music outside of country and classical. Like, there's some sort of influence from the African American or minority culture. And and also hip hop is the genre with the highest average vocabulary. It also has the highest word per song and new words per song. So, talking about vocabulary wise, it's definitely, hip hop and rap have really been groundbreaking when it came to expressing, and especially when it came to Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, when it came to female rappers breaking in finally into mainstream. And they were easier to make that way from Queen Latifah. They were easier to make that way when it came to what's her name? The one who did Flip It and Reverse It. I can't. Damn it. Yes, her. Her name escapes me for some reason. And then it led the path to Lizzo, because rap and hip hop were mainly a strong male industry, and these women broke it and broke the mold. So I started doing this research of what the controversy was. And then I came across Ben Shapiro quoting the songs from the song. And of course, for those of you who don't know, Benjamin Aaron Shapiro is an American conservative political commentator. He's also a media host and attorney. He writes columns for like the Newsweek and serves as editor-in-chief of the Daily Wire. He also hosts the Ben Shapiro Show, a podcast. He has also written 11 books, which are absolutely stupid and ridiculous. To be honest, his views, he is anti-abortion even when it comes to rape and incest. He calls women who get abortions baby killers. He says that same-sex marriages are absolutely unconstitutional, and that he said that a man and woman do a better job of raising children than two men and two women. He also stated that he does not feel same-sex marriage should be taught to schools and students in schools, and is quoted, "In California, we've already passed laws that have to teach same-sex marriage in public schools. For example, I went to a public school for elementary school and junior high. I don't know why the government is teaching me to think that this is okay, or taught me that this is okay, or and then he thinks transgender people suffer from mental illness, stating that you can't magically change your gender, you can't magically change your sex. There has been, like, he was interviewing a trans woman and kept referring to her in male pronouns, and it got to the point where she literally grabbed his neck and threatened on air to send him home in an ambulance. And Shapiro replied, "That seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion." And this was against her. Then turns around. It just goes on and on with this guy about he's anti-Muslim, that he thinks they're all radical, like, just radical terrorist and then turn around. In an article in 2002, he said, "I'm getting really sick of people who whine about civilian casualties. When I see in newspapers that civilians in Afghanistan or West Bank were killed by American or Israeli troops, I really don't care." He feels like that women and fighting for women's rights, fighting for Black Lives Matter movement, fighting for the LGBTQ, that we're in this hierarchy of victimhood, in which the opinions of members of persecuted groups like the LGBTQ community are for the credence. He's a big Trump supporter. That this man, like, he says the Jewish people are just plagued by bad Jews, and because they largely vote Democrat. They said Jews do not care about like their people. He said African Americans were historically victims of injustice in the United States, but they're not victims of widespread systematic injustice today. And he says that America was founded in spite of slavery. And in 2019, he argued that the idea that black people in the United States are disproportionately poor because America is racist, and that's just not true. Which, that's completely bullshit. And this is what flabbergasts me the most, is that he has a sister, and he has a sister who's an opera singer, and she was subjected to online anti-Semitic trolling, and then turns around. He has a maternal cousin who's an actress, Mara Wilson, who blocked him on all social media accounts. Even some of his own family don't want nothing to do with him. Some of his best-selling works are Brainwashed, How Universities Indoctrinate Americans' Youth, Porn Generation, How Social Liberalism Has Corrupted Our Future, Project President, Bad Hair and Botox on the Road to the White House, The People versus Barack Obama, their criminal case against Barack Obama administration. This is The Right Side of History, How Reason and Moral Purpose Made the West Great, and How to Destroy America in 3 Steps. Oh, my Lanta. So, he goes on to say how this song, which is for entertainment, that's the point of hip-hop. Hip-hop and music has been making people expand their minds and question their views since the beginning of time. And that's anything with any kind of art. So, looking at who Ben Shapiro is, he decided to go through and start quoting the first verse, starting with a whore in this house, and then just going down to the first verse and through a chorus. He says, and he literally went on record to say that this is what feminism was all about. It's about feminism was objectifying themselves, basically, is what he said, to paraphrase. And he goes on to criticize about this song. Now, here's the deal with me and him. How many times has he watched this video of these two beautiful women looking absolutely gorgeous and sexy, embracing their femininity, and how is he insulted by female pleasure? And how does it scare him? What sense does that make? everyone's giving so much backlash to these girls like Larry Johnson and Ben Shapiro and other men that are saying that this is teaching them to be whores, that these are teaching, like, this is not okay, and that this is what the feminism is all about, was to just treat women like whores. And really, this is what it boils down to. In my personal, undoubting opinion, is that these men are unquestionably scared of female sexuality. And don't worry, I have my stuff open, so if you want to like chat or something, you can click on the link on my Facebook page, and you'll be able to do that, just to give you guys a heads up. And this is what absolutely baffles my mind, is that these men are so scared of female sexuality and female power, and embracing our natural and communicating our natural, like, goddess-given desires, that they find this threatening. And I'm about to get in more of that in a second. So, and I bet people are talking about, like, what are you talking about? Okay. Let me hit it up for you. And it's not just about women's sexual. It's like women in power in general. For instance, Ben Shapiro spoke about how Kamala Harris, if I said that correctly, how she's not going to make a good vice president, that Biden chose poorly, and bullshit. We have been taught throughout history as women to suppress our sexuality. That what the world wants for us to be is too modest and meek, and to have our legs wide open for a man when he's ready, but cover our shoulders in public, and to be ashamed of our sexuality and not to communicate our sexual needs. If we don't communicate our sexual needs, how do you men know you're doing it right? Do y'all really seriously brag about women hating having sex with you? Women have come a very long way about communicating what we want and how to receive pleasure. Just like men have been very vocal in communicating how they want to receive pleasure. Okay? So, what I don't understand is, how is this so fucking threatening to Ben Shapiro and, like, Larry Johnson? And why are these people hating on these other artists that appeared in this video? Like Kylie Jenner. What sense does this make? What sense does it teach girls and women to be ashamed of themselves, that them innately are wrong? Do you realize that the whole reason why this is a thing is because they thought women were too stupid to not be able to resist their own sexual urges? Let me ask this question. A man versus a woman, who's most likely to rape? I know the answer. Are there men that get raped? 100%. Is it more than women? No. That's just fact. Four out of 5 women have been sexually harassed, raped, catcalled, sexually assaulted. Let's go down the list. And we finally, as a gender, whether you are a cis woman, transgender, non-binary, we have all banded together to demand our equality and to express ourselves and really just fight against this bullshit man-made world that we were so unwittingly given. And to quote Designing Women here, that history, that men have been primarily be the ones to do the raping, the pillaging, the warmongering, and women were not given enough power to stop these things. When are we as a society realize that men and women need to be in charge to make the world go round properly? When are we as a society going to realize that even though there are thousands and thousands and thousands of songs talking about, from country to hip hop to rap to all these songs talking about men trying to get in raw with a woman, and a woman talking about the same thing, how she wants an incredible sexual experience also. Why is female sexuality such a threat to society? Why are women a threat to society? Why? Please, someone explain that to me. Why is female empowerment so threatening? Why do men want to teach their daughters that they need to be ashamed of themselves? Why? There are things I will understand. There's things that I won't get. There are things that... And you know why it's a threat? Because it's not understood. It's something that we can decide as a woman that a man is doing wrong. I bet you every woman has had bad sex before, but I bet you that man who had sex with that woman thought he did an amazing job. Women, raise your hand if you've ever faked an orgasm. Don't do that anymore. It is not your job to make a man feel better when he does a terrible job. It's not. A man's going to tell you if you did a terrible job in the bedroom, or in the kitchen, or at work, or down the street, or even if you don't say hello back when he's trying to harass you for your phone number. And women are finally getting to the point where we're not going to accept your bullshit primal can't control myself behavior. That's bullshit. Because guess what? If me, being a hypersexual female, can look at rape and non-consensual sexual acts and pedophilia wrong, as absolutely wrong. Dead wrong. And should be persecuted to the utmost extent of the law, then why can't men control themselves? And it's not all men. My husband is an amazing man. I love him with every extent of his pieces, but he's a feminist. 100%. My dad has 3 girls and 6 granddaughters. He understands the power of women. And what absolutely aggravates me about this is that I keep getting flashes of the of the Handmaid's Tale in my mind. Of these implorable acts where eventually men are going to want to control and manipulate women to a much of a state where, but I hope that eventually in the future we can go from women are only meant to be between the sheets or be in the kitchen or having babies to being CEOs, normalized scientists, great, strong women, a woman that can be able to do it all. That can be mothers and lovers and seductresses and amazing things. And the fact that society is attacking 2 wealthy, independent, confident women for expressing female pleasure and female sexuality, about having consensual sex, is absolutely baffling to my mind. When we're willing to listen to songs like Candy Shop. Take me to the candy shop. We can hear songs like Jay-Z that said about him hitting a girl. And 99 Problems in Station 1, his second verse. Why? Why is it anything that comes up female is threatening or wrong or demonized? Guess what? Something that Tupac said, and I have a great admiration for this. Something that Tupac said, that we all came from a woman. Why? I can find these lyrics. Give me one quick second. Okay. Okay. And since we got our name from a woman, since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? I think it's time to kill for our women, time to heal our women, be real to our women. And if we don't, we'll have a race of babies that will hate the ladies that make the babies. And since a man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So will the real men get up I know you're fed up, ladies, but keep your head up. And that's coming from Tupac himself. So today, if you're a man or woman, a mother, a father, a person just on the street that came across this, I want you to think. Would the way you treat women in your life, the way you want your mom to be treated, your wife, your daughter, your nieces, your sister? But here's the deal. Just because they are your something, remember they're somebody. They're someone something. My sister, my mother, my nieces, my daughters don't deserve to live in a world like this. And neither does yours. Where a woman should be afraid to open her mouth. Where a woman should be afraid to do anything in this world without getting criticized and hated for it. Because believe me, there are plenty of Ben Shapiros out there that will be burn, witch, burn, witch, burn.